Hey everyone, Ross here from ORFM Digital. If your clinic is generating interest and you're generating leads and you're not getting enough booked appointments, the problem is your script. This video is going to bring you through the exact script your clinic should be using when you want to turn leads into booked appointments. I'll bring you through a simple framework to guide leads from inquiry to booked appointment. We believe most clinics don't have a lead problem, they have a conversion problem. Again, if you're getting interest, the problem isn't getting more interest. The core problem is converting the interest into paid booked appointments. And that's the thing I'm going to bring you through now. Here's the hidden issue we see within most clinics. Most clinics are built off word of mouth. They're built off referrals, they're built off your local network, and that's great. That sets the foundation for your clinic. But this quietly creates a problem in the background when you want to grow. When you get a referral, or when you get someone that's heard of you before, getting them in as a paying patient is very simple. Trust is already transferred. The decision is basically made. They just need the last step to push them into a paid appointment. And when they get in touch, all you need to do is help them decide on what appointment they should book. So it's very easy sell. There's little to no sales ability or sales skills needed to push these people into paid appointments. This means clinics, as they grow, their employees, the founder, the operator, the practitioners, they learn that sales isn't a skill that needs to be taught or learned because they've built a successful business off of it. This problem arises when the business owner decides to really grow. As soon as you start moving into colder audiences, you start marketing on Meta, start marketing on Google, you start going to local networking events, you start promoting outside your referral network, you start to move away from referrals into cold decision makers. And this requires a completely different approach as opposed to referrals or word of mouth. And the issue is your team has learned from experience that sales isn't something you need. All you need to do is have your expertise and guide them into appointment. But this just isn't the case when it comes to cold leads that you get from Meta and Google. Cold leads don't fully trust you yet. They're in the background comparing options, and they haven't fully decided that what you offer is the solution for them. So they need a lot more warming up to get them over the line into a paid patient. And the issue is, because these require a different approach, most clinics don't have a framework for this different approach, and they approach it just the same way they'd answer a call from a referral that wants to book in. And that's exactly why you can't convert leads into patients on a consistent basis. The end truth of all of this is you just can't speak to cold leads the same way you speak to referrals. It requires a completely different conversation. And that's why most clinics don't have a lead problem, they have a conversion problem. So at the end of the day, if you want to grow and you want to turn more leads into paying patients, you need a repeatable conversion framework. You need a script. You don't need improvisation. You don't need guesswork. You don't need dependencies on specific sales reps or specific receptionists. You need a trainable, consistent, scalable system across all your clinics so you can consistently convert the highest amount of leads into paying patients and get the most out of your marketing budget. The framework and the solution we consult our partners on when they're looking to convert the highest number of leads into paying patients is the closer framework. This was originally developed from Alex Hormozi, so I can't take the credit for this, but it's a very simple framework that works across every industry we work with, whether it's physiotherapy, aesthetics, chiropractor, or even if it's wellness clinic. This framework works wonders and works every time across every industry. The closer framework is an acronym that you can give to your lead callers, whether it's a receptionist, practitioner, or a specific salesperson, on how to move through the conversation. Each letter in the word closer represents a step you can bring each lead through to have a process to bring them from a cold lead into a warm patient that's ready to book and ready to pay you money for your solution. Starting off with C. C means clarify. So you want to clarify why they reached out. The goal here is to understand why they became a lead. Why did they fill out the Facebook lead form? Why did they download the lead magnet? Why did they search you up on Google? We want to understand what the problem is and why they reached out. A simple line you can use to clarify why they're there is, what made you reach out today? What made you download the lead form, etc. Once we've clarified why they're there, we want to label them with the problem by reflecting back to them what they've told us. This shows empathy, this proves we're listening, and it builds trust. So in their own words, we want to repeat back to them what they've told us. For example, if someone comes to you and describes that they've been dealing with back pain for several months, we want to just repeat it back to them, something like this. So what I'm hearing is, you've been dealing with back pain for about 6 months and it's starting to affect your day-to-day life. Does that sound about right? Literally repeating whatever they've told us right back to them is exactly what we need to do in this next step. The next letter in the closer framework is O. And this is where we overview their past experiences and their pain. The goal here is we want to understand what they've tried, what hasn't worked, and how the pain is impacting their day-to-day life. So again, what they've tried. We want to run through what they've done already to try get a solution for their pain. They might have already been to a physiotherapist and it didn't work out for them for a specific reason. They might have tried some YouTube rehab videos. They might have tried a whole bunch of methods. And the idea here is you want to understand why it didn't work for them so we can use that as ammo when we're trying to push them into the paid appointment. If they didn't like a physiotherapist for a specific reason, we want to emphasize that we're not like them when we're pushing them into a paid appointment. And we also want to understand how the pain is impacting their day-to-day life. Again, if someone has back pain, it's never just as simple as back pain. That's not the issue they're really dealing with. On the surface level, it is, but when we go a layer deeper, it's the fact that they can't play with their kids anymore. They can't play tennis anymore. They can't play around the golf. These are the deeper issues with back pain. The actual pain is one thing, but how it's affecting their day-to-day life is another. So you want to overview this so we can use this when we're pushing them into the paid appointment. And while they're overviewing and while they're opening up about these pain points, they're going to start to feel a lot of psychological pain when it comes to these pain points. It's going to open up the wound. And that's exactly the point we push them into an appointment and push them into our solution. Moving on from O, the next letter is S. This is where we sell the vacation. This is when we present the outcome, not the appointment. So we don't want to talk about the mechanism. We want to sell them the dream that they're looking for. We want to talk about what life will look like when they're done with our program, our appointment, our assessment, our beauty treatment, whatever it is. We want to start talking about the outcome. The second they started overviewing their past experiences and opening up about their pain, they're looking for a solution now. Psychologically, they'll be looking to put something on the wound we just opened up. So if we start talking about the dream outcome and how we're positioned to solve that, they'll be much warmer and they'll be much more likely to move into a paid appointment. So you want to tie our solution to their pain. We want to use relatable examples on how we've helped XYZ patient do the exact same thing they're looking to solve. And we want to paint life after the problem. And finally, we want to ask them, are they ready to move forward with the next step? Whether that's an appointment, a free consultation, whatever the next step is in our sales funnel, we want to present this to them and ask them if they're ready to move forward. And that brings us on to the next letter, which is E. This is explain away their doubt and eliminate it completely. When we ask them to move forward into a paid appointment, they're likely going to have some objections. The idea here is we want to swiftly get rid of these objections and handle them so they're ready to move forward. Common concerns can be price, their confidence in the solution, time. And another one that commonly comes up across every industry is, can I think about it? Here's a pro tip when it comes to this step. You'll likely find when you start to call leads over a space of 2 or 3 months, the same 20 to 25 objections come up quite consistently. So every time you get an objection, I want you to write this down in a spreadsheet. And you'll find that you'll get the same objections every time you call a lead. And what we start to do is we can start to build out a database of objections and how to handle them. Meaning, if a new sales rep comes onto your team, if you hire a new receptionist, if you open up another clinic and you're doing marketing, you'll have a database of objections and how to handle them. So that in this scenario, when you hire someone new that needs to call the leads, they don't need to be trained up on every single objection by wasting leads. They'll have the spreadsheet in front of them and they can study that themselves before calling any leads. So you don't waste any leads and you can just add to this database over time so you have a collection and a library of ways to handle specific objections. And this will increase your conversions no matter who you hire or where you expand to. You'll have this library and this database. So once we've explained away their doubt and we've eliminated any objections and we have them pushed in to our next part of our sales funnel, whether that's the appointment, free consult, whatever it is next,
we want to reinforce their decision, which is the last part in the closer framework.
We want to lock in the decision. We want to congratulate them. We want to reinforce confidence in our solution. I want to set expectations. The reason why this matters is because most people will get the appointment and say, great, see you on Tuesday or whatever it is. But this results in high cancellation rates, lower show-up rates, and worse quality patients. Once someone gets off the phone with you, they'll start to doubt their decision. So it's important we install confidence into them as they're exiting the call so that they have the highest likelihood of being excited for the next step. We're going to remind them on the dream outcome that we're going to solve for them. We're going to make them excited for the in-person appointment. And we just want to build the confidence that we're actually going to solve this problem once and for all. So that's the closer framework for you. So just to repeat this to you again, the word closer stands for a 6-step process that you can bring each lead through. The C stands for clarify why they're there. L stands for label them with the problem. O stands for overview their past experiences. S means sell them the vacation. E stands for eliminate objections and concerns. And R means reinforce the decision. If you bring leads through this predictable process, I guarantee your conversion rate will skyrocket and you'll finally have the repeatable, scalable system that you can bring to any rep, any receptionist, and any clinic that you start. The reason why this works so well is because it's not a black and white script. The framework allows the conversation to flow chronologically through the processes of getting them from a cold lead into a warm lead, ready to book an appointment. If you're not already convinced that this is what you need to convert leads into patients, here's one final advantage. As you grow, as you hire more team members, you open up more locations, and you really expand your business, the benefit of the closer framework is that it's one framework and it can work across all your clinics, all your practitioners, and all your receptionists and all your sales team. It ensures it's the same experience every time. It allows you to have predictable conversions and it works forever. These foundations won't change. The final point here is this system doesn't rely on talent, it relies on the process, which is exactly what we want. Once we crack the individual scripts, we crack the objections, we have it for life, and it will only start to compound in our favor. That about wraps it up here. Finally, I'm going to bring you through 30 seconds about what we do for clinics. If you're not interested to hear about what we do, you can click off the video now. I hope you got some value. But anyway, at Orphan Digital, we're a growth partner for clinics. We build proven systems for patient acquisition, conversion, and retention. That way, your revenue becomes predictable your calendar stays full, and you can have the confidence while you open up more locations, hire more employees. If you're doing over €50,000, pounds, dollars a month, book a call with me personally below. They'll be at the top of the description, and we'll chat about your business. I can show you what we do for other clinics. I can provide some value. If we both feel like it's a fit from there and have a further conversation about how we would structure the partnership, we'll move forward from there. But regardless, chat to you soon.